When it came on to the recent pandemic, because of us, they were the lowest uptake of the injection. They only had 22%, while other countries were at 65%, because we led a campaign against them forcing or bribing people or tricking people into it. We said we're not against any medication. What we're saying is do not force, bribe, or trick people into it. Let people have the information and then make their own personal choices. And because of that, we held them at 22%. The Jamaican people were empowered to say, no, we do not want to do this, and so on. So we're already impactful, but here's how we're going to become more impactful, because this is very important.
Yeah.
We're not taking money from the PSOJ oligarchs that fund the other two parties, right? So we are at a deficit, a serious disadvantage. Now, to me, taking money from the PSOJ oligarchs is not an advantage, because if we did, then what you'd have is three of the same thing. You'd have three parties owned by the PSOJ. So I am trying to convince my Jamaicans here at home and abroad to say, let us beat them at their own game. We the
Sorry,
people.
just before you continue, I just want to, for those who may be watching and don't understand what the PSOJ is, could you just tell them just the
Sure.
abbreviation
So the
properly?
PSOJ is a cartel. It's the richest people, the richest business and corporate entities in Jamaica, plus some others. You know, you always have other smaller ones involved, but the big guys. So you have the biggest, richest people who fund, like this election, they will give more than $500 million to those two parties. So what they do, right? Democracy is you can either have a true democracy or a fake democracy. In 1944, when the British gave us the right to vote, and I love to talk about this, right? Think about it. In 1834-38, they told the Jamaican people that you're now free, you're no longer slaves. So even though they told you you're now free, you could not vote. So what is that? Now, what they always do is whenever things get rough and the people start to agitate for their rights and it becomes too difficult to maintain, they simply adjust the system to trick the people. So in 1944, they adjusted the system and said, okay, one man, one vote. You can all vote now. But the constitution that they created said, but the governor of England, if he doesn't like what those you elect are doing, he can overrule it. Okay? So that was a fake democracy. Then they transitioned that fake democracy after 18 years of testing it to see if we would buy into it, if we were dumb enough to buy into it. And we bought into it with their duality, their duopoly, a monopoly of two, a duopoly. So they gave us a monopoly of two, where the PSOJ oligarchs, or the plantocracy back then, monopolized our election system by owning the two parties, putting them in front of us, getting us to accept them as our representative. When they win, we legitimize them. But the guys behind the scene, the PSOJ oligarchs, the richest corporate entities and families in the country, they're now controlling these two parties. And that has been the case ever since. So now we, the people, have just been tricked into voting for them. And whenever we get tired of one, which they know we will, we just go to the other one, and they just laugh because they know, okay, look at them now, fools. So they're now tired. They're now tired of this one. They hate Andrew now. They're tired. They can't stand him. They'll do anything to get rid of him. Fine. And all they're going to do is to vote for our other guy, Mark now. Vote for Mark now. Mark is going to save you. Mark is the savior. Vote for Mark. And when they vote for
But
Mark, then they will say, oh my gosh, Mark didn't save us. What are you going to do now? Oh, don't worry. Vote for the new leader of the JLP. And the people will run over there. Oh, let's vote for the JLP. And they just keep going. See-saw, see-saw. And what's happening while they're being divided, while they're being distracted, those richest families and corporate are busy extracting the wealth of the nation. So while for example, during the pandemic, while the people were suffering, the banks, the people, remember, people produce the wealth of the nation. And while the people were suffering, the banks were making billions. Their profits were highest ever. How can you have locked down everybody and the banks are still making billions? Very simple. The economy is rigged. It's designed to extract from the majority to maintain the affluence of the minority.